Okay, so when you're going into QuickBooks, you have to make sure that you set up a company file. Now, you're going to have a different company file for each different business that you may run. So let's say you have maybe some real estate and maybe you have a small business that you run from your home. I would really set up two separate company files. They're really two different entities and you want to keep those separate, okay? So we're going to go through the interview process here. We're going to pick on File, New, and you can see we can start the interview. Now you can also import the data from other accounting software, as you can see. We're going to pick on Start Interview and go through the interview process. So you give your company a name. And if that's the same legal name, that'll show up there. Otherwise, you can change that. You give it a tax ID. Fill in this basic information. Whatever information you have. There's not too many things that are required here. Only the top field, the company name, is actually required. So what do you have in there? If you're going to send emails, then you want to be able to put an email address in there. And you can put your company website. We're going to pick on Next. Then you're going to pick the type of industry that you're in. And you can see we have a pretty comprehensive list here. Now, if you don't find the exact one that you're looking for, then find the closest match. For example, I'm going to fill in information technology, computers, and software. And depending on what industry that you pick here, it's going to change your chart of accounts in different settings within QuickBooks. What is your company organization? Sole proprietorship, LLP, LLC, a C corporation. So it might even be helpful to have your accountant or your bookkeeper around when you set up the screens. When does your fiscal year start? Mine starts in January. Obviously, you can pick a different month. I would recommend that you put a password so that not everybody can go into your data. And then, of course, I want you to verify that. You're going to type in the exact same thing. It is case sensitive. Now, if you just had skipped the interview process, those screens would have still come up. We're going to create a company file. And then it has a default folder that gets installed when you install QuickBooks, but you can really put it in any folder. But I'm going to put it into the default folder. And now it's going to set up the company file. Like I said, all of those questions would have still occurred even if you had skipped the interview. Now, every question after at this point will be what occurs when you actually pick the interview. So we'll pick on Next here. Do you sell products or services, or both products and services? I'm going to pick both of those. Do you sell products online? Do you charge sales tax? Actually, in my state, when I sell computer consulting services, that is not taxable. But if I sold a computer, then that would be taxable. So you want to keep track of that. And QuickBooks will help you do that. Do you want to create estimates? So we can do proposals or bids in QuickBooks. In a future video, I'll show you how to do that. Using sales receipts. Yes, I make sales receipts. So like I said, if you have your bookkeeper or your CPA, they would be able to help you with these questions. Do I want to use statements? Yes, I do. Progress invoicing means, let's say you accept partial payments or monthly payments. That would be called progress invoicing. So I'm going to say yes there. Managing bills. Do I want QuickBooks to manage my bills? Yes. Do I print checks? Yes, I do. All right. So later on in a different video, we'll print checks. Do I want to track inventory? Yes. So you know the answers to these questions. It might be a little bit different for you. Do you accept credit cards? Yes. Do you want to track time in QuickBooks? Yes. So you're just going through the screens. Do we have employees? Let's say we have W-2 and 1099. And do you track multiple currencies if you're doing business outside of the United States or outside of your country? I'm going to say no. Now it's going to talk about the chart of accounts. Based on the answers to those questions, it's going to set up some default chart of accounts. And you'll be able to change these later on. When does my fiscal year start? Let's say January 1st. Would you like to add a bank account? Yes, I would. So I'm just going to say the name of the account here is business checking. The account number is anything. I mean, you want to put your real account number. Now, for the routing number, it actually needs a real routing number. It doesn't let you go by without a real routing number here. So I'm actually going to read this from a check from my bank and type it in. So that is my actual routing number, but that is not my actual accounting number. But of course, you would put that information in there. When did you open up this account? Before January 1st, okay. You can put a balance in. So let's say that the current balance is $10,000. This is a round number. And it says, do you want to have another banking account? I'll say no. You could have as many as you wanted to. And now here's the chart of accounts. So again, it's always a good idea to have a bookkeeper or an accountant help you with this. But you can always add these later on. But here, I can actually just check these or uncheck these to add them right from the screen. It makes it a little bit easier. All right. So let's say I have a health insurance, workers' comp, professional liability. All right, miscellaneous, postage. I might as well add these right in here. It's really easy to do so. And then we can always change these later on. Well, there'll be another video about that. All right, so I'm going to pick on next here. And now we're done with the interview process. So that really is going to be the first thing that you want to do within QuickBooks. Now what happens here is when you open up that company for the first time, it opens up in coach mode. So here in coach mode you can look at different trainings and different videos. I'm going to close that out. If you wanted to get coach mode again, you can get it from the screen over here. Otherwise I'm going to minimize that. And now we're actually set up all of these answers, set up the company file, and now we are ready to go with QuickBooks.